Thanks, Zoom. Recording's in progress, according to her.
And if you can't trust her, then who can you trust?
Exactly. Zoom, her reputation, as far as I'm concerned, is unimpeachable. That woman is a saint. A saint.
I'm just hoping nothing comes out about her, you know?
Yeah, especially that thing she did with that boy at the river.
We don't talk about that.
No, we don't. Right. So tell me about this hat.
This hat, let me tell you, they pulled out all the stops. It is exactly the kind of quality and attention to detail that you would expect from the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin brand.
Yeah, the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin brand and associated Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin family of products.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this hat, don't worry listeners, we'll be with you in a moment. This hat was, you tell me, made available if you pre-ordered the game from Stop. As I said it, in my head, I was like, don't do that thing where you conflate GameSpot and GameStop. Again, Steph, you fool. You will embarrass yourself in front of Elsa. And I've done it. It's the classic goof, my friend. It's the classic goof.
You've made a rod for your own back.
Oh, I have made the proverbial rod. I've trebucheted my own pig into the ocean on this one. GameStop, the store, the shop, the brick and mortar retail outlet for video games that's in America, which I don't get anymore because I'm not in America anymore. I used to live there.
Yeah.
Now I don't. That's how that works.
But like, my question is do you still have game, like all caps, game?
We do have game in all caps. It's a great place to go if you want to buy non-game related items. I recently visited Game. I was in Sheffield for my wrestling training and went into Meadowhall, which is a big shopping mall there, where currently the billboards, the sort of light up billboards that are all over the shop, currently have my face on because True Grit Wrestling has a show this weekend at the time of recording, and they bought a bunch of ad space at Meadowhall. So if you wander around the mall, you might see my face. But I was there the other week, went into Game, and got a little Transformers box set of toys from the Legacy range. I only wanted one in it. It was a spin-off Insecticon Ransack. It's black and yellow, and I like it, so I got it. Though in fairness, I did get a game-related thing. I got a Commodore 64 Mini, which is a great item if you want to be reminded that Commodore 64 games are universally, with the exception of Whiz Bowl, shit.
Does it have like a mini cassette player on it then? Like attached to it?
No, it's got a replication of the joystick, which is a bad idea because it's accurately replicated in that it's shit. So you've got that horrible, boxy, wobbly, inaccurate joystick. And then the Commodore 64 keyboard. It's a replica. The buttons don't work. It's like a solid plastic shell with the keys lined up that don't do anything. And that's it. That's your whole bag. I was trying to explain this to my husband, Phoenix, who is just that bit younger than me, that my top-notch cultural references are not familiar. And then I wither and skeletonize before their very eyes as I become older and older with every passing I don't get it that comes out of their mouth.
I mean, I was born in 1988, so you might be in for like a Portrait of Dorian Gray moment.
Ooh.
I mean, the only reason I know anything about the Commodore 64, and woe betide me for saying this, is because I watch the occasional angry video game nerd.
I used to watch that. I met him once.
Oh, yeah?
I met the angered video game nerd at one of these Screw Attack conventions that they did for a couple of years.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, this is back when I was relevant.
Screw Attack. That takes me back.
Screw Attack, yes. I was at the convention and I met him and shook his hand and said, hi, I'm, at the time, you know, the business name Jim Sterling, which I don't use ever now. Like, it's still my handle everywhere and I say it's for business, but ever since transitioning, I am just Stephanie everywhere. But, you know, introduced, hi, I'm Sterling, what have you. He looked at me confused, like he'd never seen anything like me before. And this is pre-transition, so it was just a fat gamer. But he just sort of was squinting at me and had this polite smile where you could just tell behind it he was like, who is this dickhead? What is the relevance of this thing before me? I'm sure it wasn't that nasty. It was just slightly confused. That's also the same event where Jack Thompson, the notorious lawyer who was very much like me, was also relevant in the 2010s and isn't anymore. He passed by me in the public lavatory that was there at the time. I said there at the time as if, like, here! Once there stood a lavatory. I'm sure it's still in there. It was a hotel in Dallas.
Who knows? Maybe, like, you know, I used to work in hotels, you know, at some point during renovation, they were just like, you know what, this toilet, it's gotta go. It's gotta go. If word gets out that Jack Thompson was in here, we're going to lose all of our respect with anyone who considers Stuttering Craig to be an aspirational figure. Is just going to shun us for life, and we depend on that.
Right?
Those obnoxious gamers who do the Colossus scream from the X-Men arcade game in our lobby. That's our lifeblood. That's our bread and butter.
I knocked a small boy's hot dog out of his hand at that event.
Good.
It still haunts me because I didn't handle it well. I mean, everyone laughed except for the boy, but I panicked. I had a bag and sort of swung it over my shoulder. Little kid behind me, hot dog knocked out of his hand. I turned around, looked at him, looked at the hot dog, looked at him, and instead of apologising or coming up with anything reconciliatory in any way, I looked around, turned and ran. And for anyone who wasn't the boy, it was apparently quite the comic moment because it did utter quite a bit of revelry from the crowds that had gathered round, specifically me, as they got to see this person who, again, as I say, at the time in the mid-2010s was somewhat notable, knock this fast food convenience from this boy's hand and then run like an adult. I feel genuinely bad about it. I mean, obviously the kid's probably 45 now. It was that long ago and may never remember it or may rue the day.
Maybe this is like a Kill Bill type of situation.
Oh no.
Where this child is now training for years, just years and years and years. And one day, you're just going to be sat, maybe in a park with like a Greg's sausage roll, and somebody is gonna just come up and just look you dead in the eyes and just say, "Steph, look at me."
And we'll have the whole wah, 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 I'm sure. The whole build-up.
And then he'll just smack the bottom of your hand.
Oh, no.
Sausage roll will go flying in slow motion while the theme music from Requiem for a Dream plays.
Oh, God, no.
And you'll just watch this happen and stare into the middle distance, eyes wide, jaw slack.
And the worst part is Bill tried to warn me. He came to my trailer out in the desert and I was like, that man wants his revenge. And we deserve to lose our sausage rolls.
But then again, so does he. So I guess we'll just see, won't we?
And I will see. And I don't want to see, because Greg's sausage rolls are sub-delicious. They're that perfect blend of tasty but not very tasty. It's the perfect British snack. And I don't want to lose a single one.
I want one so fucking badly. I want one so fucking badly. Like my dad, right? My dad, his name is Greg, and he is English. And if he's been keeping these sausage rolls from me for my entire life for 34 fucking years.
What a monster. That would be truly monstrous. You don't keep a Greggs from a person.
No.
You don't keep a Greggs from a trash girl. It's what we live off. The British variant of the species. We scuttle from Greggs to Greggs looking for sausage rolls. Actually, it was the first thing it was the second thing that happened to me when I came back to the United Kingdom. After 14 years away, because, those familiar with me will know that story. I was in the United States for a long time. Well, literally 14 years, I just said. First thing I did, kiss my husband. Second thing I did, eat a sausage roll that was at the airport. There was a Greggs in the airport. So Phoenix kissed me, and then even more romantically and beautifully took me a sort of 100 yards down the hallway and got me a sausage roll and bought it for me. And then I ate it, num all up, and then I said, is it all right if we kiss again? Because I know you're vegan and I've just had a sausage roll. And it was okay, everyone.
Really?
It was okay, and that was a romantic story.
So then the vegan diet allows you to have a little bit of like sausage roll vapor and spit.
Yeah, like you could sort of get the aromatherapy version of a Greggs, I suppose.
If you eat that and then just sort of exhale right up their nose,
like a sausage roll blowback.
Yeah, that is the most erotic thing that I think I've heard since the last time I heard Jonathan speak.
I mean, if you really want to get pastry crunk, what you want to do is buy like 10 sausage rolls and then sit in a car with someone and sausage box them.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, let me tell you, there is nothing hotter than getting sausage boxed. Sausage boxing. There's a money-making opportunity.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's been exploited enough.
Sausage boxing.
Now there's many ways that could go.
No, I'm thinking a pop-up.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course. Every new idea these days, every innovation in the tech marketplace, because this is a tech idea, will be a pop-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just a sausage sauna.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking we get little tiny boxing gloves and put them on the end of sausages. And then one person each holds one, and then they just sort of wobble it on each other. And I guess the first one to snap loses, so you just got to snap the other one. It's sort of like a cross between those punching boxing robots from retro toys.
Rock'em Sock'em robots, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cross between Rock'em Sock'em robots and looking and behaving like a dickhead in the street.
I mean,
that's my vision for sausage boxing.
I think you are really going to disrupt the marketplace here, Steph.
I love disrupting the marketplace. I look at a marketplace, I get so fucking angry at it, and then I just sort of walk among it, upturning the various stalls and throwing sausages into the... what if the boxing gloves were made of sausage meat?
Shit.
Right? You get two students who you've convinced this is a good idea. Like, we tell them we're from, like, the Jackass people. We're like, they're coming back. Jackass 2. Jackass harder. And we just convince them that they'll be on TV if they mash all this sausage meat around their fists and just batter fuck out of each other. Battered sausage.
That may be the most masculine thing I've ever heard coming from you.
Yeah.
Like, just in terms of ideas, it's
so masculine.
You could market this to the MGTOW of the world.
The men going their own way, the men's rights activists.
Yes, their own way, which they're obsessed with meat, right? Isn't that their like part of their brand?
I seem to talk about it a lot. Yeah, they look up to sort of fellas like that Jordan Peterson, who's always like, I only ever eat meat. It's all I eat. Why is my toilet paper red when I look at it after I've done wiping my bum? I believe that was from his last university speaking tour.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's funny because that guy looks like a Muppet.
He does. He looks and sounds like a Muppet.
He looks and sounds like if Bert from Sesame Street grew up and got all of his news and commentary from the Daily Wire.
I think rather than describe what he looks like, I think you've just described what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just a factually accurate portrayal of what happened.
Well, if that's the case, I don't want to dead name the man. That's his job.
Oh, that was a quality goof. I'm running out of time. What do you mean this meeting will end in 10 minutes? Why is Zoom time limiting me?
I don't know.
In 10 minutes this is going to go. I'm not upgrading to Pro. What is Pro?
Fuck off is what it is.
By the way, listeners, this is, if you ever wondered, like, who's in charge of running podcasts, the various podcasts that Steph's on, it ain't Steph. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Oh, boy.
Oh, shit, we were meant to synchronize. Shit.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
You know what? That's fine. We're agents of chaos, or agents of chaos.
Oh, right, yeah, that Stranger in Paradise hat.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the theme of the whole...
That was the theme of what we're doing. So, GameSpot, stop! God damn it, Stephanie Sterling, you artichoke heart. GameStop.
Stop.
Offered these baseball caps, these baseball capulets, Stranger in Paradise, and I'm looking at them now.
Stranger of Paradise.
Stranger of Paradise.
Yes.
Final Fantasy Origin TM. Because we were going to talk about Elden Ring on this one, which at this point, it'll be a miracle if we get to it. But in preparation for talking about Stranger of Paradise, a Final Fantasy story, and its relationship in your history to the Elden Ring, you wanted to get one of these hats because you didn't at the time.
I didn't at the time because for some fucking reason, I usually only pre-order things if there's something Final Fantasy related involved, and I pre-ordered it through Square Enix's own online shop. And what Stranger of Paradise taught me is that that's a bad idea, because I got the game like maybe 5-6 days after release, and I got no hat. There was no hat, no black trucker style cap with the game's title emblazoned on the front so that everyone who saw me could know that the video game exists.
Yeah, that's the ultimate sort of prize for pre-ordering the game, is to essentially just be a walking billboard.
Yeah.
As I guess all branded apparel. It's apparel, isn't it? I always say apparel.
Apparel sounds like a medicine.
Yeah, or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Apparel.
Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and apparel. I believe that was the four of them.
Yeah, and then I think for a little while there was a girl one called Amanda Palmer or something. Why was that the first thing that came to mind?
Yeah. I don't know, but I like it. But yeah, these hats, which are sometimes, it can go either way when it comes to pre-order items, collector's editions of games. Either, like if you don't get them when they come out, either they will be found on eBay or the like super cheap or super expensive. There's no in between on that.
Oh God, don't get me started on the I have a perfect analogy actually. It's I remember when I was interested in this'll take you back a decade. Mm-hmm. But do you remember, I know you don't, but do you remember Defiance?
I remember the name.
Defiance.
I remember the name. Let me see if I can recall it off the top of my head. Oh, this is a fun game. I'll ask for clues.
Oh.
And see if I can guess it.
Mm.
Defiance. Was it an action game?
Yes.
Was it published by a third-party publisher.
Yes.
Okay, so 10 years ago. Was there shooting?
I don't know how you possibly could have guessed that, but yes.
Okay.
Video games in 2013, not really well known for having.
2013. Okay. I don't remember.
That's okay, neither does anybody else.
That's fine. I'm going to look it up now because I do know the name. I do know. I was at one point familiar with Defiance.
I mean, it was. Oh, jeez. It was the Transmedia Synergy one.
Oh.
That had, like, a third-person shooter MMO deal.
Mm-hmm.
And a tie-in television show with the gimmick being that whatever happens in one will occasionally have some sort of impact on the other.
I do like that Defiance, the Wikipedia entry for the Defiance TV series, says is an American science fiction Western drama television series. Is.
Not was.
Which suggests it's still going. It's not.
It very, very much is not.
It stopped 2 years after it aired. But I do like that someone in charge of the Defiance wiki page is cracking on that it's still a thing because they've not let it go. Because the one other person who remembers Defiance is not letting it die.
Good. Let someone keep hope alive. Because I actually kind of liked the show. It was very derivative, but also it was fun to see a science fiction show where all of the aliens were just people in makeup saying a bunch of made-up alien words. And, you know, like Graham Greene is in it and Jamie Murray is in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I bring it up because the game was a Treon Worlds production.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Treon Worlds. It was very heavily promoted. You know, it was supposed to be a big live service thing before live services, back when they were just still calling them MMOs.
Yeah.
And I guess Defiance was hearing the buzz around Final Fantasy XIV and decided to take a bite at that. So, big collector's edition, obviously. It came in like a chest, had a messenger bag. They didn't tell anybody it was canvas, so when it wasn't, no one cared.
Right, they didn't just tell a lie, so people were okay with it.
And also it came with a statue of one of the game's monsters, the Hellbug.
The Hellbug. I'm looking at the collector's edition now on ebay.com.co.uk. This is certainly on one end of the spectrum in terms of what we were talking about with either really cheap or really expensive. But yes, so as you were saying, the collector's edition had a Hellbug with it.
Yes, it was nice. It was a nice little statue. Sturdy.
Yeah, it looks decent.
One of the nicer statues I've seen. I'm not like a huge fan of the statues that come with collector's editions most of the time.
They are mostly shit.
I have a few that are quite good. The ones that come with the Final Fantasy XIV expansions are, like, better than they have any reason to be. But the Defiance Collector's Edition, when I was interested in the game, when it was still available, which it no longer is, can't possibly imagine why. It's because the game's shit. It's just a bare minimum bog standard third-person looter shooter. In 2013.
Yeah.
So like this was a post Borderlands 2 world, you know. People
had better.
And I didn't even like Borderlands. But the collector's edition was very cheap. Very, very cheap. And I'm guessing it still is.
Yes. There's currently one that's got 2 bids on it, £8.50. So you're looking about $10. The ones that are pre-bought, we're looking between £20 and £25, which I don't know the exact conversion. So let's say $30.
Oh my god!
Those are the 2 cheaper ends. The others are trying sort of between 50 and 65. A couple of real chances have gone up to like £145. But why would you go for that when, you know, we got these at the bottom end? Yeah, so anyone who's been listening and they're like, you know what? I like the sound of that Hellbug statue. Yeah, you can pick it up for comparative peanuts now. And while you're there, you can help yourself to a Aliens Colonial Marines collector's edition for like 50 quid.
Of course that got a collector's edition. Why the fuck wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I never got it. It's got a statue of someone being attacked in a power loader by an alien. The statue looks garbage. It looks like bog standard collector's edition video game statue quality.
Oh.
Which, yeah, always subpar, like subpar. Like it's about half a Greg sausage roll on the quality scale.
Oh.
Just very like simple, shitty paint job. I'd love to have it. Looks terrible. But yeah, it's always difficult. Collector's editions for new intellectual property, because I always find that very arrogant.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know? How do you know that there's going to be any collectors for your game? But then if I buy I'm a consumer whore. Despite as much as I sort of rail against capitalism, I'm as big a sucker as anyone else. And I do like my shiny trinkets. And if I really love a game, then yeah, I'm going to want some nice mementos of it. So the risk is, like, I'm not inclined usually to get a collector's edition of a brand new IP, because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't know if I'm going to be a fan of this, you arrogant clods.
Well, wait a second. Are you telling me you didn't immediately invest in the collector's edition for Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning?
I wish I had. I like that game. How much is that one?
Because wasn't it pretty pricey?
Actually, yeah, wasn't it like $500 or something utterly stupid? I think it was stupid money.
I remember 200 being, because I remember you specifically using the phrase $200 cunting dollars.
That sounds about right. Here we are. Here's a news story from... Oh, wait, no, that's Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. No, I want the original. What was the original? They did a collector's edition for the remake as well, apparently, or the remaster.
Wow.
How much was that one? I don't know. They haven't got a price on that one. It came with an Amalur keychain and a statue of a person, of Alan Shearer, not the footballer Alan Shearer, some dual-wielding elf lady, Alan Shearer.
I mean, I definitely don't have enough elf tits in my collection. Maybe I should look into this.
I mean, you can never have enough elf tits.
I don't know. I play Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, that's true. You probably get your fill.
Yeah. And then some. More cat girls than elves, though.
GameSpy, powered by IGN, is telling us that the collector's edition... Well, no, they've only got one price, which was for the solid resin troll figurine. Apparently that normally retails individually for $125, or it did in 2012. But they've got no information as to how much the original... Let's just say it was $200 cunting dollars, and leave it at that. It's currently around about the £80 mark on eBay.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, no, again, I'm looking... This is Re-Reckoning. I'm only getting the Re-Reckoning one.
They're just trying to unperson the original version of the game.
Yeah.
Just be like, no, this didn't happen.
That said, I am kind of wanting to play Re-Reckoning again. I really liked Kingdoms of Amalur.
I've heard good things.
It was a flop compared to what they were trying to do with it. You know, they wanted it to be this huge... Well, it was EA. They expected a massive... There was going to be an MMO.
Oh, Jesus.
And very much like with Defiance, like media tie-ins. It was a huge... They did that with Dead Space as well at the time.
Yep.
The first Dead Space, you know, they had the animated movie, books, comics. That was EA's thing. And it was a big that sort of late 2000s, early 2010s was a big thing for the game industry at the time. They wanted everything to be cross-media, and that didn't work out for them.
Every fucking game had a novel.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one Actually, a couple of the Dragon Age ones were pretty good.
I was actually going to say, I enjoyed the prequel novel to Dragon Age Origins better than I did the game.
Honestly, same. Like, The Stolen Throne, it was called. And I thought that, it kind of had the Kingsglaive effect. I'm sorry that everything I say loops back into Final Fantasy somehow.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'm married to Phoenix, and any video game conversation with them will actually go back to Dragon Age.
Well, it had that Kingsglaive effect of it provided much needed context for the game itself. Although in the case of Dragon Age, The Stolen Throne, it was very much just a sort of novel-length answer to the question of why the Dragon Age antagonist Loghain is like this.
Yes, I got a lot more out of the game having read that book.
And see, I liked Loghain as a character because of the book.
Yeah.
Even though in the game itself, all he does is he just, we must make Ferelden great again.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was his whole shtick. He was calling for a complete and total shutdown of Orlesians entering the kingdom.
I will say as well, one big disappointment I had with the game was I read the book before the game, because it came out before the game, and I'm like, I can't wait to see the villain they've set up in this book. That complete asshole dickhead Orlesian ruler.
Yes!
Who is in, like, a scene in the book, and never again. Not in the game at all.
Yep.
And he was really, like, such an awesome dickhead from what I remember. And I was really looking forward to seeing him. And then there's nothing about Orlais except for Loghain's hatred of it.
Yeah, which just makes him seem like a jingoistic dickhead, which he was.
Yeah, he is. You just don't get to appreciate exactly why without the book. One of the rare occasions where a video game tie-in novel is actually well written, I think.
There's another one that preceded Origins, but it was after The Stolen Throne. It was called The Calling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a bunch of people going in a fucking cave. But it was pretty good.
Yeah, okay. I tried to read an Elder Scrolls novel once.
Oh, God.
Insipid nonsense. And the book wasn't very good either. Oh, nailed him. Nailed him to the fucking wall.
Oh, I don't know if the Elder Scrolls as a brand will ever recover.
Right? I think, honestly, Bethesda's stock is tanking. Microsoft now trying to sell the company back off before it completely bottoms out. We've got them. We finished them with that. It was a goddamn slaughter.
Have fun with Starfield now, motherfuckers. Eat shit.
Right? Oh, dear. So, yes, this Stranger in Paradise hat.
Yes, we're going right back to the Stranger of Paradise hat.
Yeah, I keep saying Stranger in Paradise. Do you know why I do that?
It makes more sense. You're absolutely fucking right.
It makes more fucking sense. Stranger of Paradise.
Of Paradise.
Of Paradise. See, God, Square Enix products and their fucking naming conventions, or lack of convention thereof, drives me up and I apologise for what I'm about to say, fucking wall.
It's a bit extreme, but I'll allow it.
I'm sorry you had to hear that, Elsa. I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Ow. I tried to stand up. The cord of my headphones was under my foot.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I just managed to apply an exquisite neck wrench to myself. So good at professional wrestling, I do it to myself by accident. I'll be back 1 second. Dead air's a crime, so I'm just going to keep yelling while I go over here and get my phone. Now, some might think it's unprofessional to just suddenly start texting your partner halfway through a podcast recording, but there are no energy drinks in the house.
Oh.
Can you grab me some monsters on the way back? There's none in the house. There we are. It's just if I go the whole day without one, I'm going to wake up tomorrow with a headache. I don't have a problem. Just habits of trying to medicate ADHD for decades.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
No.
Not a problem.
No.
I just need, like, lethal amounts of caffeine to help me sleep. You know, we've all got our foibles.
Yeah, and that begs the question, do you think we're going to talk about Elden Ring eventually?
No.
Probably not.
I think that's going to have to be the main thrust of another topic. Because we haven't even finished talking about the hat.
We haven't finished talking about this brilliant hat.
I think the pilot episode of this show that will have a name by the time it's posted is basically the first topic of our pilot debut is a hat. That's what it's come down to. And we've gone on a lovely adventure along the way. You know, we've talked about collector's editions. We've talked about cross-media. We've talked about Greg's, the sausage roll people. All this and much, much more. People can't say they haven't got value out of this.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No, but this Stranger in Paradise hat from GameSpot.
You're just doing it on purpose now.
I'm just leaning into it at this point. What more can you do? Did that have a collector's edition?
You know, it didn't.
Interesting.
I mean, neither did Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That is true. It had
It had a deluxe edition.
Yeah.
But that was just a steelbook. Like, that's not like the $400 one that Final Fantasy 16 is getting.
No.
But the Final Fantasy 16 one is $400.
Hang about. Hang about. Is there a collector's edition? Digital standard. Origin. I saw a website link to something just then. Who the fuck cares?
I mean, it's Stranger of Paradise. The only person who cares is me.
At the current moment, yes. I mean, it was well liked on its launch. I didn't like it. I want to give it another go, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm not sure why.
It's because it's weird. It's a very weird game that it has the God hand problem of explaining itself very poorly. It's funny because it has extensive tutorials for every weapon type, which I think as of today, because the last DLC is out today, and as of today it includes guns as DLC weapons, and I'm assuming that the guns will get a tutorial on their use.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the flow of combat, the only reason it makes sense to me is because I come from a fighting game background. So the idea of canceling attacks into special moves and placing very heavy emphasis on blocking and parrying is a big thing for me. And, you know, so there's a guard meter. Of course there's a guard meter. It's like a fighting game.
But see, this is a good explanation as to why I didn't get with it, because I can't do fighting games. Never have been able to.
I have been playing fighting games off and on for about 30 years. So, like, name a fighting game, and if I haven't played it, I've heard of it. And yes, that includes Rise of the Robots.
I was definitely going to mention Rise of the Robots, yes. Very genuinely. I only have 3 fighting games I'm familiar enough with to use as frames of reference. Rise of the Robots, Primal Rage, and Eternal Champions.
Oh.
Only one of which is considered an actual good fighting game.
Yeah, Primal Rage.
Rise of the Robots, obviously. Yeah, so those, and I did like those, but I can't play fighting games. So yeah, that might be the problem. It's good to have a fighting game aficionado as part of the Jimquisition podcast umbrella.
I can be that for you. I can be your fighting game consultant.
Yeah.
Granted, like, my opinions on the genre are often very unpopular, but I'm used to having unpopular opinions because it's not my fault that the entire rest of the world fails to recognize the brilliance of Final Fantasy 13.
Of course.
It's a masterwork.
Is it now? Is it now?
No. No. No.
But you are a big fan of Final Fantasy 13. This is something we have talked about off air several times in the past.
I do genuinely think that it's good. I think it's deeply flawed. Like every Final Fantasy game that isn't Final Fantasy X, I think that it is deeply flawed.
Yeah.
But I do think it's good. I think it makes more sense than people give it credit for. I think that, as silly as the stupid proper nouns are, with the fal'C and the l'C and a focus and crystal stasis and I could keep going, I guess. But why?
See, that's what I thought about the game itself. It could keep going, but why?
Touché. But, I also was very willing to buy into it, especially at the time. I was willing to buy into the first thing you have to realize and accept and internalize in order to fully appreciate Final Fantasy XIII is that Lightning, the character Lightning, is very cool all of the time, and you want to see more of her.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Always.
Like, for me, she encapsulates the perfect video game protagonist in that her personality is she has hair.
She does have hair. It's very nice.
She has hair and a face and arms and legs and clothes.
She has a sword.
That's true.
She has a sword. It can turn into a gun.
Just when you thought that things couldn't get any better.
Exactly. I don't know what else you could possibly ask for, all right? She has hair.
Yeah.
She has a face. She has eyes.
Eyes on the face.
Eyes on the face.
They say the fucking, Xenomorph is an iconic Hollywood, monster. But that didn't fucking have eyes on his fucking face. So Lightning's got one up on the Xenomorph.
You fucking ain't right. And you know what? If Lightning fought a Xenomorph, she would win. Checkmate.
Well, she's so cool.
She's so cool all of the time.
Oh, God. You know what? When I was done playing Final Fantasy XIII, I thought, wow, I really hope one day Lightning returns. And she did.
She did. Twice.
No,
actually, there was a... Oh, God, I can't believe I'm bringing this up. There was a crossover event.
Oh, no.
This is where Final Fantasy becomes Kingdom Hearts for a little while. There was a crossover event in which, between the events of Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, Lightning was briefly present in Final Fantasy 14.
What?
Yes.
I did not... I liked 14... No, 14's the MMO, isn't it?
Yeah, 14's the MMO.
It's 15 I like.
15 also crossed over with 14. Noctis showed up,
Brilliant.
However briefly.
Brilliant.
Actually, the thing they did for 15 was fine, because it was just... They just took monsters from Final Fantasy 14 and plunked them in 15 for a bit.
Yeah.
So there's an optional boss fight against a big bird lady with tits.
Brilliant.
What more could you ask for?
I mean, I like my big bird ladies with tits. Some would argue that that goes against the genetic makeup of the typical avian creature, but I would say, fuck off, big tits.
I would say, if it's good enough for Dark Souls 2, it's good enough for me.
If this podcast, and indeed my decades in the business, have ever been about anything, it's about the philosophy that if it's good enough for Dark Souls 2, it's good enough for us.
Fuck yes. I really wish I liked Dark Souls 2 a bit more than I do.
It's okay.
Look, you can wear a bell on your head. You can wear a big bell on your head, and if someone hits you in the head, it goes boom.
I mean, what more could you ask for except for a video game protagonist with eyes and hair and a bird with tits?
Exactly.
That's all we want. We want our video game protagonists to have faces and hair. We want a bell on our head that goes bong, and we want birds with breasts. Real ones that produce.
Yes. That I presume they lactate.
I should hope so.
That does give them the unique ability, to make their own custard.
That's true. That's true, and that I think is an example of something that we could say we've learned
On this journey.
on this journey.
I'm sure we'll talk about Elden Ring eventually.
Eventually, but the point of today's podcast, just in case anyone's been on tenterhooks for the past near hour, is that these. The Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise pre-order baseball cap is not very expensive on eBay.
No, it isn't.
That was the point. That's what we were trying to get to. That was it.
So if you want to be part of just the coolest of the cool kids clubs, right? Pop on eBay. Get yourself a Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin hat.
They're 12 quid.
It's a black trucker-style cap with white text on it that tells you the title of the game, just in case you forget that it is of and not in. You gotta that conjunction is that's not a conjunction, is it?
I don't know. It's fucking boring. Is that hat?
Yeah. It's not a good hat.
It might as well just have written on it, "This is a hat." But it's 12 quid.
Yeah. Actually, it would have been way better if it had just said Chaos on it.
Yes.
In, like, just plain white Arial font. Just Chaos.
Oh, dear. But you liked that game.
I did like that game. I liked that game. I thought it was... It's the same thing that draws me to Final Fantasy in general, is that it was sincere.
Yeah.
Stranger of Paradise is very the game that it is, and it put itself out there, and it's just like, yes, this is exactly what I am. The trailers that saw a man put headphones in his ears and blast nu metal that like during a briefing in a throne room. No joke, that's just what this video game is. And I guess I just kind of, in this world and these times of genre savvy, where everything has to be a wink and a nod and a we can be self-referential and self-deprecating. We can be the Avengers. And not even the fucking Avengers video game could be the Avengers movie, I guess.
No.
I mean, that game can't be anything now.
No, except dead.
Dead as fucking disco.
And half as tasteful.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that game needed, is more hairspray.
Yeah. Applied directly to the disc and then a match tossed onto it.
I would love to see that.
But no, I'll certainly give Final Fantasy that. It is 100% committed to the absolute bollocks that it comes out with.
Yep.
But I think we should start wrapping up because Zoom's given me another 10 minutes.
Oh, bollocks.
I'll have to fucking sort that out before the next one. But I think we've learned a lot today.
I think we have as well.
I think we've drawn some excellent conclusions. Learned a little bit about, well, mostly about how much 3 or 4 collector's editions are on eBay. That's mostly what we've learned today. That's the takeaway.
Final Fantasy 15's one actually has gone up.
Oh.
From the MSRP. So that was actually what I was going to say, is that's on the other end.
Yes, we neglected to mention the ones on the other end.
Final Fantasy 15?
Final Fantasy 15.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, yeah, I could see that being quite costly.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, that just screams appreciated value. I forgot it had one.
It was exclusive to Europe.
Huh.
It's got a little bell. You can ding a little bell.
I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
So am I. I have thought about buying it before.
I've got the collector's edition of Octopath Traveler, and it's got a coin in it that's like a leaf, one of the actual currency. And I love like trinkets that are like they're from the actual world. Big sucker for that. But we are getting sidetracked again.
We are.
And I do want to make sure that we're good and wrapped up. So thank you, Elsa, for being on.
Anytime, any place. I will quit my job and abandon a family funeral to do this.
That's the kind of commitment I quite reasonably ask for from anyone I work with. If you've got any socials or other such things you would like to point our listeners to, do please share.
I have a Tumblr.
Ooh.
Would you like to... You can follow me at 6gunbreaker on Tumblr, at six-gun-breaker.tumblr.com if you want to see me mostly reblog pictures of old rotting houses and indecipherable Tumblr memes.
Sounds great.
And I guess if the listeners want to know who I am, I'm Elsa Farron. You may have heard me on Talking to Women About Video Games, where I occasionally provide the voice of the redneck Tonberry, as well as many other voices.
Yes, your voices are excellent.
Well, thank you. I don't know what that voice was, but thank you.
It was close to Beedle from Wind Waker. Thank you!
Oh, Jesus.
Oh! One of the few impressions I feel like I actually nail.
That just makes me think of the barmaid from that one Boston's Favorite Son. Oh, you fucking bastard!
You fucking bastard! Oh dear, we can have a quick tussle in the dump corner, so long as the bard watches.
He's got a bard on for you.
Oh, and
Jesus fucking...
There we go. Oh dear, what a wonderful way to end our pilot debut episode of a podcast that will have a name.
The Trashgirl Diaries.
Oh my god, I love that. That's what it is. The Trashgirl Diaries.
The Trashgirl Diaries.
I love it.
Oh, see, this is what decades of playing Final Fantasy has gotten me, is I can title things now.
All right, and this is what decades of wanking over the Red Shoe Diaries does for me. I instantly love it.
Perfect.
David Duchovny was a handsome man. Thank you all for listening, everyone. Thank you so much. I moved on from Red Shoe Diaries. I don't want anyone thinking that, like 2 decades later, I'm still wanking over it. I've decided that's the line. I've decided that's what I'll be embarrassed about, is if... Sorry, let's just end it there.
You like porn?
Yeah. Pornographic material.
So do I.
Yeah. Really not got a problem. No quarrel with it. Well, aside from all the ethical stuff in the behavior in the business. I'm just going to end the podcast now.
I'd like to thank Angela White.
Yes.
For her positive contributions to porn.
Angela White, very dedicated performer. I, on that light, would like to just throw out, just an old school thank you to Gianna Michaels as well. And bye.
Ta-ta.